Alright, let's cut out top and bottom slices because those will not be visible. Why is that showing up? Bye-bye. Alright, so let's look at the guide. And first of all, let's pull the guide to the top so we can see a little bit better. And we're going to cut out this area from the top and this area from the bottom. I think we should cut this whole triangle out of the bottom. Okay? Because if we don't, our sand is going to overlap to here and it's just going to look funky. So we need to finish drawing on the guide. So highlight the guide layer, B for your brush, and go back to that red color. Something like that. And we need to make a line from here to there. So click, down shift, click, and that gives us a visual. There we go. It doesn't look perfect. What do you think? You know what? I'm going to clean it up. Okay, I think that looks better. There we go. So, time to learn how to use the pen tool. So we're going to highlight the top layer. Now notice if I click the layer, I just select the layer. If I click the vector mask, it creates a line around the mask. Now I know I have selected the vector mask, I can adjust it. So just clicking the layer is not enough. You have to click the vector mask so there's lines around it. So clicking the top and making sure it's the top, and you can see a little thumbnail of it, I'm going to use this guide to cut out this top part of the ellipse that we made. So P for our pen tool, and looking at the selections across the top of the control panel, we're going to choose subtract from selection from this set right here. This is a new selection, add to selection, or add to shape area, subtract from shape area, intersect, and exclude. I'm going to choose subtract. I'm going to start dead center. I'm going to click one time, bink. I'm going to click at the edge, bink. Now I'm going to go further out because in reality this is an ellipse and this is a curved line here. So now that I made the straight line out, I'm going to go further, because if you don't, when you go from this point to here, you'll leave what hangs over, and you have to go back and fix it. So I might as well get it right now. So I clicked further out. Now I'm going to click this point, straight up to the beginning, and finish it. There we go. So if you take off the guide and look, as well as the mesh, and look, you have cut out the top edge right there. See that? So do that at the top and then go back to the vector mask. Make sure you highlight the vector mask and then do that at the bottom. The same process. Click, click, further out. Oops, see what I did? I'm going to undo those. Command Z, Command Alt Z, Command Alt Z. I have add to selection. I need to subtract from selection, but I've already created a new layer here. So let's throw that in the trash. And you probably did the same thing because it defaults as add new selection. So shape layers, pen, not freeform, and subtract from selection, or subtract from shape area. Make sure you have the shape area selected. See how it defaulted? See how it defaulted right back to new shape? Subtract from, and then click. Click, click, further, over, in, and finish. And you should have cut out the bottom. Sorry, my phone was ringing. Moving on. Okay, let's build the left, the inside left, the right, and move on. See, we're building 3D objects from 2D shapes using a 3D mesh. I know it sounds silly, but we're creating these objects individually so we can clip individual textures to these objects. Now before I continue, I just noticed down here at the bottom, I'm not very good at this bottom ellipse. So I'm going to highlight the ellipse and transform it, and then warp it. Oops, let's go warp. There we go. I'm going to pull that line down just a little bit right there. Not too far here, so I'm going to pull that in. I encourage you to be as precise as possible, please. It's hard. There we go. That's better. Alright, moving on. I'm going to create the left, the inside left, and the right. Well, you are. So back to the pen tool, and remember that number I asked you to add for the blue? We're going to use that same number. We're going to change it just a little bit to maybe a little bit darker blue so they can see a differentiation between the edges for our visual, not for the final product. I'm going to zoom in. We're going to go left edge. Now across the top, new shape layer. Again, the regular pen tool. New selection. Earlier we wanted subtract from selection, but we want a new shape area. I always say selection because the word changes with different tools. But anyway, and a darker blue. Let's start up here in the upper left. But before we start, let's take off this grid layer and the guide layer because we're going to use these edges to guide us. We're going to start at the furthest point out and click one time. And now I'm going to click about 2/3 of the way down and drag straight to the edge. And I'm going to click at the very edge now, right there. Now it starts to fill on the wrong side. That's okay, because as soon as we make our next click, which is straight down at this corner, it's going to start to fill again. Now to make our curve here, let's put our mouse or cursor right at the apex or the farthest point out of the curve and click and drag straight up until it matches that curve. Perfect. Now we're going to finish our shape by clicking at the beginning. When you move your mouse over the beginning, you'll notice it's a circle and not a plus. When we see plus, we're just adding an anchor point. When we see a circle, we're finishing the shape. Bam! Now we have created a really cool left shape that we're going to name left. Now let's move to the middle. Again, we're going to use what we see on the screen right now to start a new shape layer. So, since we finished the one a minute ago, this one should start right here at this corner. Ooh, that was a little high. Command Z and undo. Command Z and undo. Alright, I've clicked one time. I'm going to go down here and make a straight line. Click right there. Perfect. And I'm going to go to the dead center, the original shape, straight up, cover, and then back to the beginning and finish, and this is inside left. Go around and make all your shapes, come back and see me. Okay, hopefully you've made all of your sides. Now some of you will have not made this inside right. If you can, I encourage you to make it because it looks kind of cool. If you didn't, you know, it's okay as long as you're clean all the way around. And if you'll zoom in and notice, it's probably driving some of you crazy that some of these edges are not lining up perfectly, like right in here, if you see on mine, or down in here. Don't worry about that because we can adjust that at nearly any time. And we can do that by, let's look at this one for instance. This is, oh, I didn't name them all, did I? Shame on me. This is right. And this is inside right. I'm pretty sure. I'm assuming back, let's make sure. Oh, that's a crap layer. Throwing that in the trash. Bye-bye. Alright, be sure to keep up with just your layers. So I have something like this. So that would be left. Highlight left, select the vector mask, come in here just a little bit, and I know I need to move that somehow. So I'm going to use a tool down here. It's called the direct selection tool, if I can find it. Here it is, right here. Direct selection tool. It's an arrow key down there. And when I select the shape, I can adjust the handles. I can actually move the anchor points to get them to line up. So I'm going to move those around just a little bit. And if you want to be perfect, take some time at this. There's nothing wrong with being perfect, right? Or trying to be perfect. So make it line up and select the individual pieces inside left. That would be this one right here. If I move in here, I can select the object and move it just a little bit higher there. That's decent. I need to move move this one over just a hair. Better to have them overlap than there be gaps. So go around and fix that.